Yes, as I was saying, some men been hurt so much that, and women, females, lesbians, whatever, heterosexuals, so much that they look for the same type of person they say they don't like. And I've experienced that myself, attracting people with the same energies subconsciously. The unexamined aspects of myself has come out in others, and I had to look and say, okay, what am I hurting about? Is it about that person's treatment towards me, or is it about how I treat other individuals or people or parts of me that have not been healed, that's reflecting back to me? There's a law in the universe. Well, it's said that the law of attraction is an active law in which whatever you put out comes back to you. I'm a firm believer in that, but I also believe that we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. And if you look at your partners and how they treated you, and what's happened, you can pretty much find probably a little bit of yourself in that person. Often when I ask somebody, okay, how did your last relationship go, and why did it go wrong, and who broke up? Like I said, people go through different things and different experiences differently, so we can't put everybody in a box. You know what I'm saying? Just like we can't say all men or all women are dogs, or we can't generalize. Guys cheat, or they're not supporters. Some guys are selfish. You know what I mean? Um, yes, there are people who suffer from these negative behaviors, and then there's some who actually contribute to it, nurture it, and then at the same time turn around and blame another individual for their mishaps. There's a lot of unhealed behavior, and who we attract and what we attract that we don't like. You know what I'm saying? You probably are an evolved person. You probably have overcome. You probably have, you know, straightened yourself out, and still you attract a broken person. Someone that just can't deliver or match you where you are, meet you where you are. And there's nobody perfect. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on how much of that person you're willing to deal with, what issues that they have you're willing to take on, and if you feel you have the capacity, the space, the strength in your life to actually help them, because some people do come in our lives to be helped, but they don't realize it. You know what I mean? They overlook you because, deep inside they have an agenda, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much it'll come out, what that agenda is, you know what I'm saying? Because they'll start to disassociate themselves with you, find reasons, not to want you be with you, or whatever the excuses are, um, or reasons may be. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance in our community, meaning you know not seeing the trees for the forest, type mentality. You know what I'm saying? We like to overlook a lot of things, and though we may say something is true, it's not really true enough for us to implement in our lives. You know what I mean? It just stops right there. You know, a lot, and like I said, a lot of people just accept damage and broken individuals because of fear of being lonely. It's like this is my last resort because I've already been hurt, used, abused, and I don't think there's nothing out there for me. You know what I mean? Or anyone worth my time. When in reality, there are beautiful men, there are beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? It's just that most people are so much in a cage. They haven't come out of that cage, and they haven't really been healed from their circumstances. And you can tell by their responses to you. You know what I mean? How they deal with you. I mean, I understand trauma. Trauma is real, but um, like I said, only you can determine if someone's worth engaging, investing in, and pursuing. with the idea that, okay, there's, you know, it's not going to be 100% because I'm not 100%, but, we can work on it. You know what I'm saying? There's some things we can work on if we communicate. Okay, my next reason why same gender loving relationships don't work. Somewhere in our quest for love, we forgot and overlooked that men are still men, even though it said that the tops are the male figures and the bottoms are the female figures. Submissive, we find that sometimes there's a rift between the two because we both have rods. You know what I'm saying? We both have staffs. And there's sometimes, when tops want to be the submissive one, bottoms want to be the dominant one. In those verse relationships, they do exist. And some people lose sight of their role. And then somewhere along the way, they argue, fuss, fight, and riff about, being sexually satisfied, how they want to be satisfied, and tend to look elsewhere if it doesn't pan out. Number 5, most men lack emotional intelligence. They've been raised possibly in a household where they've ignored their feelings or their parents ignored them. And this breeds, very numb people who may feel the feeling but don't know how to express the feeling because of the oppressive environment they were raised into. So some men actually walk into relationships expecting others to understand them, understand what they mean and what they say and what they want without actually communicating. That's insanity to me. But you have these type of relationships, and then they actually become dissatisfied along the way, as if their partner can read minds. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no real dialogue or discussion about each other's feelings. All people can do when they do bring them up is blame the next person, but hardly you don't see people saying, you know what, I am the reason for this. I did overlook that. I was insensitive about this topic. I should have accommodated you. I should have done this and done that. So this becomes a norm, and this becomes another toxic trait. You see it all the time: straight, heterosexual, gay, whatever, bisexual, lesbian. No one's really exempt from these norms. Number 6, a lot of black gay men, women as well, are fearful of their HIV status, and what they really feel is rejection, fear of rejection. And fearing rejection, what they do is sabotage the relationship or the potential of a relationship before it even gets there, because they're always calculating, well, what if he doesn't like me after I tell him I'm positive? What if all I've invested in just goes to naught after I tell him my status? Or there's a lot of things that go through one's minds, and what they do is um, they become disassociative, or they kind of disconnect somewhere along the way because they're already predicting what they think the outcome is going to be. So that so they kind of like you know in the relationship, or the potential for one. Then you have those whose self-esteem is affected by their HIV status, who, because they feel they can't go on and no one's going to actually accept them, do drugs, heavily into sex parties, parks, cruising, because they feel they would never find a committed partner who would accept their status. And then they tend to take on a more like sinister behavior, in this community. And I'm sure you've seen it, heard of it. But I see a lot of videos where people speak on these issues, airing out their hurt feelings, bitterness, and their critique in a comedic kind of way. But no one actually offers solutions on what they think or ideas that can help heal relationships or heal the communication process, with people. If you're interested in consultation, I do consultation. I have a temple, spiritual healing temple for same gender loving people. And till my next video, we'll meet again.